Hello everyone, I wanted to give you a quick walkthrough of what your golf cart could be experiencing after a flood like we've just experienced. So the first thing that's going to be affected is your electric motor, which is just above the axle, which is right where your center of your rim would be. Your motor sits maybe an inch or two just above that point. So that's the first thing that will encounter water, and it can cause brushes to seize up over time, even if the cart runs now, and that's the only level of water you had received. The progressive damage will seize up the brushes, and then the cart will just not run, or some other things could happen, but that's the most common thing. Furthermore, if it still has water and it's been powered up, it can short circuit, as it has a direct path straight through the motor and back into the controller without doing any electrical work. So that's the first stage. The next stage is potentially the controller, or if it gets to the floorboard, you could actually get to your main harness, which is just under your floor mat there, for both your main cart harness and your 12-volt headlight harness runs under the floorboards in most carts. Your throttle sensor is an electrical device that's under the floorboard right here, attached to your throttle pedal. All right, so if you've got salt water that's beyond the floorboard here, your main harnesses have been compromised. The corrosion will progressively cause issues. Even if the cart runs right now, it will later leave you stranded, and as the corrosion breaks away some of the welded or soldered spots within the harness. Above that would be your controller, which on most carts sits typically um, behind the battery pack, but also like halfway up the batteries, not as high as the batteries, but they sit generally a little bit lower and in front of the motor. And when that gets wet, that's when you can really have sparks and fires happen. Because there's capacitors and all types. It's a very sensitive electrical component that's not sealed on a lot of the newer carts. Some of the older carts were much better sealed, but a lot of these newer carts are just little plastic boxes, and that's not good when it gets to that level. And none of it's really good. If it's made it to the motor, that's not too bad. You can replace that, and that's fine. Especially if it's a lifted cart, you have a better chance. But once it makes it to the floorboard here, the progressive damage, it'll take possibly a little while, but it's eventually going to compromise the reliability of the car. So that's the first stage, is the motor, and then your floorboard and your master harness and your light harness, and then your controller and your solenoids generally at the same height as well. It can reach further up to the batteries, and that can short out, as one card I picked up earlier kind of seemed to it seemed to look like the water had gotten so high that it was able to short out the batteries. Salt water is not only very corrosive, it's very conductive. So it's a straight path from battery post to battery post if it's submerged underwater, and that's definitely not good at all for the batteries to discharge on themselves like that. So that's a general rundown of what's going on there, and I just suggest you really have to remove a lot of things or just total the entire cart if that's the case. Anyways, thanks for watching.